Hey, Yetta, did I catch you tripping up the stairs?
No, sir.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.
Welcome to another episode of Life's Inside Track. I'm Yetta Decker.
I'm Ken Decker.
And today we have our one and only
Virginia Dawson
with Sustainable Wellness Now. And so this time, not only do we get to share techniques, thoughts, tips, tools, and tactics that we all need, we all deserve, so we can turn our house into home, families thriving, we live the best life possible. This time, we're going to figure out how to live the best life possible within our body, inside our home. So cool. And so we're going to consider, what's that little tiny foundation? What's the simple foundation, actually, that's required for us to do the things that we want to do physically? Maybe, and you probably already know what it is you want to do that you haven't been doing. Or maybe it's something you did do that you stopped doing and you're ready to do again. So the reason Virginia's here is because she got some answers for you. So Virginia, we're going straight to it. What is the foundation? Because even when you shared it with Ken, he didn't know the answer.
No.
Yes.
I was ignorant of the answer.
Yet you knew it. Because I do believe everybody knows what the answer is, and that is our feet. Our foundation is our feet. What is at the very bottom of our bodies? And that is the 3 points for our feet for foundation. So that padding under the big toe, the padding under the baby toe, and the heel. And are all 3 points of our foundation, of the soles of our feet, on the ground. And so I think so we can relate to homes. Mm-hmm. And that foundation is, what's the foundation of a home?
The footings.
The footing. Ah!
And you didn't know that, or you weren't thinking that connection.
I was not thinking that connection at all.
It's actually the footings.
Yes, quite incredible. And so if we're not on those 3 points of our feet, then we're either inverting or everting. So if you kind of think about a stool with 3 legs. And so if you sit on that stool with 3 legs, you're solid. As long as it's a solid
as long as you
stool.
don't tip.
Yes.
Well, as long as you're not like one of my grandchildren that come over and start whipping on 2 legs and the one leg's not actually. But that's what happens with our feet, isn't it?
That's the point.
That is the point.
You got it.
The point. The 3 points, actually.
Are actually on the ground. And as soon as one of them gets lifted,
yes,
we're not stable.
Correct. And so that begins at the feet, that foundation. So how do you know? How do you know if you're on the 3 points?
Because I can tell you, I was pretty sure I was a pretty good walker. Because the one thing I never gave up in all the years that I shut down much of the physicality of my body from the time I was a little kid, the one thing I kept doing was walking. I could outwalk you, baby.
Oh, yeah. When she walks, I can't stride the same stride. She used to rip her skirts. She'd stride so far. I'm going, are you crazy?
And I'm only 5'5", right? 5'5.5" in my tall days.
She walks fast.
And I could always walk, which made me think I was really good at it. Uh-huh. But just because you can do a thing, in my case, didn't actually mean I was doing a thing right.
Yes.
And my posture was a mess, but that didn't slow me down because I had enough determination and spunk to get where I wanted to get. So I just got there, and I got there in a hurry. Mm-hmm. And yet I didn't know I wasn't standing on the 3 points of my feet and that it actually even mattered.
Yes.
So maybe you're like me. Don't admit it if you are. You don't have to admit it. You could admit it. I feel better.
So how would we find that out, Virginia, if we're not balancing on the 3 points of our feet?
Mm-hmm. So if you have pain in your body, knees, hips, shoulders, spine, you're likely not standing on the 3 points of your feet.
Ooh, so that
even lower back pain?
So that angle changes all the other joints going up.
Going back to the home. Think about the footings of the home. Mm-hmm. If they are off at all, if there's a crack, and they're not repaired, they're not put back to the way they should be, then what happens to the home eventually?
Well, if a footing is shifted, we in trouble.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Everything, the windows are going to crack.
Absolutely.
the brick is going to crack. Like sometimes when we go to a home and we're looking at it to help our client decide whether this is the one, we're constantly looking at the corners and where there's brick to see if there is any cracking, because it's not a concern about the brick. It's concern about what's happening way down below the ground in the foot of the house. I like that. I'm going to go with the foot of the house.
I like that.
I like that.
Yes. So another way to tell that maybe, simpler is if you take a look at your shoes and you see, you're looking at the bottom of your shoes and maybe it's worn at the heel more, or maybe at the, on the side by the, the big toe. Maybe it's worn more. I know I took out my slippers because it's getting cooler out now. I took out my slippers just to see what is the pattern, because it's sheepskin, so that it wears. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Now, I've had them for a number of years, and for the last 4 years, I've been helping people and teaching people, right? So just look at your shoes, and that will tell you if you are how are you standing? What does that look like? And if you have pain in your body. And so to shift that, really focus on, this is what I teach in class, is like, all right, am I on those 3 points? That padding under the big toe, baby toe, and heel. And it might feel uncomfortable. It could take a few weeks because we are retraining our body. So it's a brain-body connection.
Wow. So the foundation is affected by my brain? Or is my brain affecting the feet?
So it is a disconnect.
There we go. We've got a disconnect.
Yes.
And so if you have a disconnect, you'll know it by looking at your shoes.
That's one
Sounds so simple.
So the nerves in the feet need to talk to the brain to tell it that we're level or not. Right?
And we're going to talk about that in an upcoming
segment. Right. We'll unpack that.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right. So does this prevent people from doing things if their feet are off?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I'm off, so I think we all know people. I know people, especially seniors, who have a fall, and that fall can be the beginning of the end for them. So what then also happens is people don't move, and so they're sitting, and now they're going to atrophy, and now I'm all off balance again. We're going to talk about that in the next segment. But absolutely. So falling up the stairs.
Yeah. So back to the falling up the stairs. The reason Ken asked me that is because there was a time where I used to fall up the stairs more than I'd like to admit.
Actually, you fell down them too.
I know. I did that too.
Most of the time that was like you skidded on your nylons or something, but I believe it's because you didn't have your 3 points on the stair rail.
Well, that was the one thought, and Virginia had a slightly different thought. There was more than one reason, I guess.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. So
do tell.
Yeah, well, Yetta that brain is going. And so sometimes for some people, our brain can be going much faster than what our body is able to carry our thoughts. And so our brain's up there and our feet are still down at the bottom of the stairs and trying to catch up and unable to. So, and the other thing with the fitness industry, I'll just say, is that push harder, go, more strength, more push, faster can harm us. There is a place for it.
Right.
And it can harm us.
Okay.
Right. So slow it down, I think, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what causes you to feel alive and that you want to do again?
Mm-hmm. And we're grateful that you've joined us because we love positioning people for building wealth wisely, because it's about much more than just money.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.